This person feels they are losing you, and they are about to do something unexpected. Take a deep breath, quiet your thoughts, and for a moment allow yourself to be completely present, because this message did not reach you by accident. Someone is thinking about you right now with a heart that feels unusually heavy. Not just for a passing moment, not in a fleeting way, but with deep and constant emotion. This person feels something slowly slipping away from their grasp, and that something is you. Hello everyone, welcome to Never Give Up. Don't forget to follow, tap the bell icon, and select all notifications, because every video has the potential to shift your perspective. They feel a change they cannot fully explain. They may not even know exactly when it began. They only know that something has changed. Your energy no longer reaches them in the way it once did. Your presence feels quieter, more distant. Your responses are no longer the same. Even if you still speak to them, even if you still appear in their life, they sense a space where closeness once existed. That realization frightens them because deep inside, they believed you would always remain. They never truly imagined they could lose you. This person never expected to arrive at a moment like this. They believed you would continue to understand them. They believed you would wait. They believed you would forgive. They believed you would always remain by their side. Not because they didn't care, but because they became too comfortable. They assumed love would last forever without consistent effort. They believed a meaningful connection could survive endless silence. They convinced themselves there would always be more time to try harder. Now they are beginning to experience the consequences of those assumptions. The fear they carry is quiet, yet incredibly powerful. They are not falling apart in front of everyone. They are not openly expressing every emotion they feel. Instead, the fear lives beneath the surface. It appears late at night, during moments of silence, when they replay old conversations, when they notice how peaceful you have become. Your calmness unsettles them more than your anger ever could, because calm often means acceptance, and acceptance is usually the final step before letting go. They can sense you pulling away emotionally. They truly feel it. You are no longer searching endlessly for answers. You are no longer asking them for reassurance. You are no longer exhausting yourself trying to repair what has already been damaged. You have stopped over-explaining. You have stopped reacting the way you once did. You have stopped waiting for them to finally choose you. That transformation has shaken them deeply, because now they are the ones left wondering. They are beginning to realize they may have waited too long. This understanding doesn't arrive all at once. It comes little by little. They notice your replies feel different. They sense your attention resting elsewhere. They imagine a future without you and are overwhelmed by an emptiness they cannot ignore. Questions begin filling their mind, questions they avoided for so long. What if I really lose them? What if someone else recognizes their worth? What if I waited too long? Suddenly, time no longer feels unlimited. It feels like something working against them. They are caught between pride and fear. Inside them, a silent battle continues every single day. One side desperately wants to reach out immediately, admit everything, explain their actions, and promise they will become better. The other side remains trapped by pride, by fear of rejection, and by the possibility that your feelings may have already changed. They don't know which side will eventually win, but something inside them is beginning to crack wide open. They keep remembering everything they once overlooked. Moments replay again and again inside their mind. Your patience, your loyalty, your emotional support. The way you stood beside them, even when it wasn't easy. They now recognize what they failed to appreciate before. That realization hurts more deeply than any argument ever could, because regret always arrives after the truth becomes impossible to deny. Now they are paying close attention to you. They notice the small things they once ignored. Your voice, your absence, your growing independence. They feel you reclaiming your own strength, and that frightens them because your confidence no longer depends on their approval. You are no longer waiting to be chosen, and that makes them realize they may actually have to fight to keep you in their life. The unexpected action is getting closer. This person will not respond the way you expect. It will not be casual. It will not be half-hearted. It will not be insignificant, because the fear they have been carrying has finally reached its limit. They are being driven by the realization that they could lose something they may never replace. Once that truth fully settles into their heart, they will take action. What they choose to do may genuinely surprise you. It could arrive as an unexpected confession, a heartfelt message sent out of nowhere, a sincere apology they have delayed for far too long, a gentle moment you never imagined they were capable of, or an honest effort to become the person you needed them to be all along. Their actions are fueled by love, mixed with panic. They are trying to prevent a loss they can finally see with complete clarity. Yet their actions also bring an important question, and this is the truth you need to hear. Just because they finally make a move doesn't automatically mean everything becomes better. You are no longer the same person you used to be. You have grown. You have healed. You have discovered what it feels like to truly choose yourself. Their unexpected effort will place an important decision in your hands. Do you truly want what they are finally offering? This becomes the real moment of truth, not for them, but for you. Ask yourself, does this match the person I have become? Is this effort consistent or simply a reaction? Is this transformation genuine or only driven by fear? Am I finally being chosen because they truly value me or only because they are afraid of losing me? Those questions deserve honest answers. You no longer have to accept less simply because it feels familiar. Your energy shifted for a reason. You didn't step back to punish anyone. You didn't change to play emotional games. You changed because your heart needed peace. And that personal transformation is exactly what finally opened their eyes. Whether you decide to continue this journey with them or choose another path entirely, remember this. You became the reason this awakening happened. You were never invisible. The final message is simple. This person feels they are losing you because in many ways, they already have. Not physically, but emotionally. Now, faced with that reality, they are preparing to act in ways that are unexpected, emotional, and immediate. What happens next depends not on the fear they feel, but on the truth you carry inside yourself. Stay grounded. Stay honest with yourself. Remember that you were never meant to be chased only after walking away. You deserve to be chosen every single day. As you wait for this person to make their move, understand that the silence surrounding you has become a space where your own strength continues to grow. This person is beginning to realize that you are no longer standing by the door waiting for them to notice you. They are seeing a version of you that is peaceful, confident, and complete without needing anyone's validation. This new version of you is what is pushing them closer to their emotional breaking point. They are realizing that while they were becoming comfortable, you were becoming stronger. Now, as they prepare to reach out with an unexpected gesture, you must be ready to view their efforts with clarity instead of emotion. Sometimes people try harder simply because they fear the silence, not because they have genuinely transformed their hearts. Fear can create temporary effort, but only true growth creates lasting consistency. The next chapter of this journey is really about your ability to recognize the difference. When they finally reach out or appear in that surprising way, pay attention to more than their words. Notice the timing. Real change remains consistent, while panic eventually fades away. They may arrive with flowers, heartfelt letters, meaningful promises, or emotional conversations. But you must honestly ask yourself whether these gestures would have happened if you had never begun moving forward with your own life. You are now standing in a position of strength. You are no longer questioning whether you are enough. Instead, they are wondering whether they have already lost too much of your heart to ever earn it back. That shift changes everything. This season of waiting is not really about their transformation, it is about yours. You are discovering that your peace is worth far more than a relationship that only becomes important when you are halfway out the door. Over the coming days, you may occasionally feel the temptation to return to what once felt familiar. But remember the reason you changed in the first place. You changed because you realized you deserved to be appreciated while you were still present, not only after becoming a memory. Their sudden urgency reflects your value, a value that you have finally recognized within yourself. As they prepare to make their move, keep your boundaries strong. You don't have to rush your decisions simply because they suddenly feel rushed. Their schedule of regret does not need to become your schedule of healing. Remain focused on your own journey and allow their actions to reveal the truth naturally. Whether their effort becomes the beginning of an entirely new chapter or simply the closing pages of an old one, you are safe. You have already accomplished the hardest part. You learned how to stand firmly on your own. Whatever they decide to do next will simply confirm what you already understand. You are someone worth fighting for, but even more importantly, you are someone who deserves to be chosen every single day, without fear being the reason. Trust your intuition as events unfold, because your inner voice already knows the difference between a sincere change of heart and a temporary fear of being left behind. When this unexpected moment finally arrives, you may experience a flood of emotions. You may feel relief. You may feel sadness. You may even feel a quiet sense of disbelief as you watch them make an effort for the very first time. It is an emotional experience when someone finally offers what you asked for months or even years ago. Yet you must look beyond the intensity of the moment itself. Pay close attention to whether this new energy is built on lasting commitment, or whether it is simply a temporary attempt to ease the pain of losing you. Lasting love is demonstrated through consistency, patience, accountability, and everyday choices. Temporary fear, however, often disappears as quickly as it arrives. Your heart deserves more than a moment of panic. It deserves a lifetime of genuine effort, unwavering respect, and a love that never waits until the possibility of losing you becomes real. They are taking action now because the reality of your absence has finally settled into their heart. They are beginning to understand that the person who always understood them and always remained by their side has finally reached a breaking point. This is the moment when their words must be supported by genuine changes in the way they choose to live their life. You may notice them bringing up old memories or trying to remind you of the beautiful moments you once shared. They are doing this because they want to draw you back into the past, a place where they once felt secure and in control. But you no longer live there. You have stepped into a future where your own peace matters more than a familiar routine. As they try to bridge the distance between you, remain observant. Watch carefully to see whether they truly begin listening to your needs, or whether they continue focusing only on their own fears. The way they respond to your distance will reveal everything you need to know. If they become frustrated because you do not immediately come running back, then their transformation was never truly about love. It was about control. But if they respond with patience, kindness, and respect for your space, it shows they are finally beginning to understand your value. Real love allows room for healing. Real love does not demand instant forgiveness. This next chapter of your journey is about staying faithful to the growth you have worked so hard to achieve. It is incredibly easy to fall back into familiar patterns when someone suddenly starts giving you the attention you longed for. However, you must remember those nights when you questioned your own worth. Remember the silence that forced you to become stronger on your own. Remember every moment that taught you how to stand without depending on someone else's choices. Do not allow their sudden urgency to erase the lessons your journey has given you. You are allowed to move at your own pace. You are allowed to tell them that you appreciate their effort, while still admitting it may have arrived too late. Or you are equally allowed to explore whether a healthier foundation can truly be built between you. The decision belongs entirely to you. For the first time, you are making that choice from a place of strength, instead of a place of longing for their love and approval. Trust that whatever unfolds next is guiding you towards something better. If this person truly belongs in your life, they will find a way to match the new energy you carry. They will stop making excuses and begin making meaningful changes. If they cannot meet you where you are today, then perhaps they were only one chapter of your story instead of the entire book. You have already gained something priceless, because while you thought you were losing them, you were actually finding yourself. Hold your head high and keep your heart protected. Life is quietly observing how you respond during this important moment, and it often gives people exactly what they decide they are willing to accept. Never settle for a temporary spark when you deserve a steady flame that continues to burn long after excitement fades. Your worth is never something to negotiate. It is simply the truth. As time continues to pass, you may begin to realize that life is testing the strength you have worked so hard to build. This person may try to reach your heart by revealing a softer side they kept hidden for a very long time. They may briefly become the person you always wished they would be, but perhaps only for days or weeks. That is exactly why you must stay grounded. The next part of this journey is about watching for consistency instead of intensity. Almost anyone can become extraordinary when they fear losing something valuable. But only someone who truly loves you will continue showing up with the same care even after they feel secure. That is the kind of love you deserve. You are searching for a love that remains steady after the fear of loss has disappeared. You are looking for someone who makes you feel like a priority on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, not only when they believe you are walking away forever. That difference changes everything. Soon you may find yourself standing at an emotional crossroads, where you must balance the history you share against the future you truly want. It is perfectly normal to feel conflicted. It is natural to feel loyal to the years you spent together. But remember this important truth. You cannot build a healthy future on top of a damaged foundation unless that foundation has been completely repaired. If they are asking for another opportunity, they are asking you to trust them again. Trust is never something that should be handed over simply because someone asks for it. Trust is earned through repeated actions, consistent effort, and reliable behavior over time. Never feel pressured to give them an immediate answer. If they genuinely value you, they will respect your healing process and allow you the time to observe whether their actions continue matching their words. Their patience during this season may become the strongest evidence of their true intentions. During this period, pay close attention to your own body and your own peace. When they message you or call your phone, notice what happens inside you. Does your heart become lighter with hope, or does your stomach tighten with anxiety? Very often your body recognizes the truth long before your mind is willing to accept it. If their sudden attention feels emotionally heavy or exhausting, it may be a sign that your soul has already begun moving forward. If it feels peaceful, encouraging, and light, perhaps there is still a path worth exploring. Whatever you discover, never abandon the version of yourself that learned how to be happy on your own. That version became your protector. That version carried you through your darkest moments. That version deserves your loyalty. Never exchange your inner peace for a relationship that requires you to become smaller just to make someone else comfortable. In the end, this experience is bringing you toward complete clarity. You are finally recognizing exactly what you are willing to accept and exactly what you refuse to tolerate any longer. Whether this person rises to the occasion and continues showing up, or slowly disappears once their panic fades, you have already received the greatest reward. You now understand that you are enough exactly as you are. You no longer believe you must chase someone in order to be noticed or appreciated. The old version of yourself has been replaced by someone wiser, calmer, and much more secure. You must also prepare yourself for the possibility that their grand gestures or dramatic changes may slowly begin to fade. Very often, once the immediate fear of losing someone disappears, people naturally drift back into the habits they never truly changed. This becomes the greatest test for both of you. If they genuinely learned from this experience, they will continue showing up even after life becomes ordinary again. But if they were only trying to win the battle of keeping you, Their effort will slowly disappear once they believe they have succeeded. Your responsibility is to remain grounded in your own power and avoid giving your heart away too quickly. Watch how they behave when there is no conflict, no tension, and no fear. That ordinary version of them is the person you would actually share everyday life with. It is easy to impress someone during emotional moments. It is much harder to remain consistent during ordinary ones. People around you may even begin noticing a new light within you. When you stop pouring your energy into something that never truly gives back, that energy stays with you. It begins appearing in your work, your health, your confidence, and your friendships. You naturally become someone who attracts healthier opportunities because your standards have quietly risen. This person notices that transformation as well, and it makes them realize something important. If they fail to step up now, someone else eventually will. Yet remember that your growth was never meant to make them jealous or convince them to come back. Your growth happened because you finally realized that you are the most important person in your own life. That understanding has become your greatest protection against future heartbreak. Ultimately, this experience is a gift of clarity. It has shown you that you possess the strength to completely change your own life. You no longer need another person's permission to feel happy, peaceful, or emotionally secure. Whether you decide to welcome this person back into your life or continue walking your own path, you are making that decision from a place of wholeness rather than emptiness. You have transformed your pain into a guide that now leads you toward lasting peace. Trust that life is directing you toward a connection that feels honest, effortless, respectful, and safe. You have already done the difficult work of growing into the person you were always meant to become. Now, you are ready to receive a love that truly reflects the beautiful soul you have become. As you continue stepping into this new season of your life, you may notice that your relationship with time has completely changed. You no longer feel desperate to fix everything immediately or force a final answer. Meanwhile, this person is now experiencing the full weight of your silence and your independence. They are beginning to realize that while they were taking your time for granted, you were learning how to invest that same time in yourself. That realization is exactly what makes their next move feel so urgent and emotionally intense. They are trying to catch up with the person you have become, yet they are also discovering that you have already traveled miles ahead emotionally. The distance between who you once were and who you have become is what finally pushes them toward honesty. Soon their actions will become a reflection of their own personal growth, or the lack of it. If they approach you with humility, accountability, and a sincere understanding of the pain they caused, it shows they have genuinely done the inner work. But if they approach you with excuses or try to make you feel guilty simply because you changed, then they are acting from fear instead of love. Remain alert and pay attention not only to what they say, but also to what they leave unsaid. Real change sounds like a heartfelt apology, followed by months of better behavior. It does not sound like endless promises spoken in one emotional evening. You are now the one who decides what is acceptable in your life, and you have every right to value consistency over intensity. There is a quiet happiness that comes from realizing you are no longer trapped by someone else's uncertainty. You reclaimed your strength the moment you stopped participating in the same emotional cycle. This person now sees a version of you that is both rare and deeply valuable, because it is a version that no longer depends on them for happiness. Ironically, that independence makes you even more attractive in their eyes. At the same time, it forces them to recognize just how much is at stake. They understand that if they fail this time, there may never be another opportunity. That pressure will reveal who they truly are. You no longer need to rescue them, guide them, or help them through that process. You can quietly observe how they respond under pressure, because their actions will reveal the truth far more clearly than their words ever could. Finally, remember that your peace is something sacred. You have walked through tears, uncertainty, and emotional confusion to arrive at this place of calm. Do not allow anyone's sudden panic to disturb the quiet strength you have built within yourself. Whether this person becomes a new partner in your future or simply remains an important lesson from your past, you have already won. You have proven to yourself that you can survive even the coldest seasons and emerge stronger than before. Your future is bright because it is now built upon the truth of your own worth, instead of the changing moods or uncertain actions of someone else. Keep your heart open, but keep your boundaries strong, and trust that the right path is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. As you continue moving forward, you will begin to notice that your need for explanations from this person has started to disappear. There was a time when you spent countless hours wondering why they behaved the way they did. But now your attention has shifted. You care more about how you feel than about understanding every reason behind their choices. This person senses that they no longer hold the key to your happiness, and that is exactly why their next move will be so bold. They desperately want to regain the influence they once had over your emotions. They see that you are no longer easily affected by small gestures or empty promises. This transformation within you has forced them to look honestly at themselves and face the parts they have avoided for far too long. The truth is that your growth has created a new standard, one they are not accustomed to meeting. They are realizing that if they want to remain in your life, simply showing up is no longer enough. They must bring honesty, consistency, maturity, and genuine effort. You may notice them opening up about their own fears or painful experiences in ways they never allowed themselves to before. While that vulnerability can be meaningful and sincere, never forget that it does not erase the period when they left you feeling lonely and unsupported. You can acknowledge their struggles without believing it is your responsibility to fix them. You have already spent enough time carrying the emotional weight of the relationship by yourself. Now, it is their turn to carry their own share.